As you know, part of the process that we use for board meetings is to have our meetings on all of the different campuses. And the other meetings are held here. This meeting, though, is different in a lot of ways, but particularly because Dr. Vallejo, the provost of the campus, is going to have the opportunity to share with you information that is unique about business, about this campus. And so it's my pleasure to invite to the podium at this point the provost of the campus, Maria Vallejo. Thank you. Yes, sir.
And I also want to thank you so much for coming to the groundbreaking. You know, the staff and faculty really appreciate your involvement in these activities, so thank you all. I know it's hard to get out early from your work, so thank you. This is an exciting opportunity for us on the Lake Worth campus to share with you what we are doing when it comes to teaching through medical simulation. In 2000, through a grant submitted by Dean Jacqueline Rogers, we were able to assess funds from the Florida Department of Education to create a Center of Excellence. It was a $70,000 grant, and it provided an infusion of simulation into the respiratory care curriculum in specialties of pediatrics for students, as well as advanced techniques for pediatric emergency airway, as well as circulatory resuscitation for our community of first responders, and they do come out and use it. Today, Dean Rogers oversees the Center of Excellence in Medical Simulation. This outgrowth of the initial Center of Excellence is very exciting for us on the campus. Within the center, the high-fidelity adult, pediatric, and infant human patient simulators are used for training scenarios in all of our health science programs, as well as high-tech continuing education programs and training for healthcare professionals in our community. This collaborative training provides real-world patient care without jeopardizing the patient's safety, of course. And for our students, it's a big deal because they are so nervous and so insecure when they first start out in the health sciences. And this really calms them down. The patient can die, and they can be resuscitated, and it's okay. And by the time they finish, I'm sure the professors and the staff will tell you, by the time they finish, the confidence level is way up there in terms of what they can do. Yeah, what they can do when they get into the hospitals and into their particular field. So I would like Dean Rogers, who is the expert in this arena, and is the one that really created the Simulation Center, to share with you highlights of the Center of Excellence in Medical Simulation and its future goals, as well as introduce the instructional staff who's been working very hard at keeping up the center and making sure that we find the funds to continue to do what we need to do. Thank you. Dean Rogers.
Thank you, Dr. Viejo. Good evening, board members, Dr. Cowan. It's very exciting to be here. Today is just full of events, and I returned this afternoon from a meeting in Orlando convened by the Blue Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the Florida Center for Nursing. And the entire conference was looking at where we go with medical simulation in nursing. And of course, this data can be extracted to other health professions. But the goal of today's meeting was to put together strategies on how to build collaborative efforts across the state. And so it's very exciting to bring this to you, particularly tonight. Simulation fosters what research is now referring to as situational decision making. And in our mission, we call it critical thinking. But it's a very important aspect for students, particularly the health science students, to be able to think, act, and feel like a healthcare professional while they're training. And that's what some of their clinical experiences provide. But we also feel that we need to protect the safety of patients. So we offer this opportunity for students to learn in this manner. What I'm going to provide for you is a brief video to begin with, and what you will see is students, faculty, and staff participating in a scenario. It will be very obvious where the scenario is being held. We have the ability to take the experience right to the students, so students don't always have to come to the Center of Excellence. So I'd like to play the video for you now.
When your child is sick and needs medical attention, having a medical student or trainee treating your child probably isn't the most reassuring scenario.
New technology now available around here uses lifelike simulation to teach pulmonary care students without having to use real patients. Let's turn to News 12 medical reporter Colin Gallagher to show us.
When it comes to medicine, the best way to learn is to practice on the real thing, but that hasn't always been possible. Now, a local college is leading the way in patient simulation that allows room for mistakes. Meet PediaSim. He's a pediatric patient simulator designed to look, sound, and act just like a child who needs medical attention.
He consumes oxygen and produces carbon dioxide. He does have a pulse, and you can look at his chest and see his chest movement representing actual respiration.
Palm Beach Community College's respiratory care program is the first college in our area to get the new technology. The school will use it to teach health science students how to treat children in a variety of emergencies. Today, it's a child with an asthma attack. While the students check vital signs, the instructor drills them on diagnosis and treatment.
What would you guys recommend?
3 back-to-back treatments with Ventolin and Etrovan.
PediaSim will respond to medication, consume oxygen, and even expel carbon dioxide, just like humans.
So what should we be looking for now?
Should be looking for an increased heart rate, any increase in heart rate, respirations, reassessing his breath sounds.
In the past, they train on mannequins, which don't offer a lifelike response to students' actions and decision-making.
If the simulator goes into cardiac arrest, students go through the motions of a real cardiac emergency.
Paddles are charged up. Everybody's clear?
Yeah. Clear.
Shot.
The students will eventually move on to human patients, but until then, they take comfort in knowing they'll already have realistic experience.
For the one to turn to for medical news, Colin Gallagher, News 12.
Tonight, on 24, Jack discovers the 24 reasons the college needs the Center of Excellence in Medical Simulation.
Versus just listening to someone speak. Simulation experience, my emotions, I was scared and I was more attentive. What am I to do? Who am I to ask for help? And I think that's more beneficial to me.
I was really surprised as an instructor what I learned. I have been in emergency situations before and you don't know what to expect. And this was just fantastic. We learned just by going through the experience, things that we have to really work on with our students, and just things that were wrong in the program. For instance, little things like oxygen. You know, we had to make sure that we check those more frequently.
I loved it. I just thought it was just so amazing, the technology that is available to us now to make something that's not real so real.
My name is Dave Martzfender. I'm the clinical coordinator for the Center of Excellence in Medical Simulation here at Palm Beach State College. I'm a firefighter paramedic for 20 years in the city of Delray Beach. Most of our simulators were low fidelity. Low fidelity meaning that they don't talk, they don't move, they don't react. When the students would use the low fidelity simulators, the instructors would have to give them their respiration, the heartbeat, the blood pressure. They would have any physiological response that they wanted, that they would have to verbalize. The high fidelity simulators that we use today, There's no instructor there. You have to get it on your own. If you want to know if the patient's taking any medications, you have to ask, and the simulator will respond. He'll talk to you. He'll bite you. Tongue edema, swelling, cervical range of motion. You can intubate him. You can cry him. Chest decompress him. Start IVs on him. Check his blood pressure. Check his pulse. Pedal pulse. Bowel sounds. Everything that you can do on a normal person to check for abnormalities, and doing a patient assessment you can do on SimMan.
Okay, well the dentist is going to come in and talk with you, and he'll discuss the treatment with you. I'm just going to go ahead and do the preliminary stuff with you.
Okay.
Him, or Mr. Sim, to use him, but he was like a person pretty much. I mean, that's how we treated him. So I didn't look at him. I walked in going, okay, this should be interesting. You don't know what to expect. But when we went up there and he was yelling my name, and I wasn't in the room yet, I treated him like a real patient. He's like, didn't want to wait any longer for his procedure, and it was really, really good.
We are mobile. When I say mobile, we have a mannequin that's on a stretcher, has a stand, and we can roll him across campus. We take him over to the dental labs, and we run office emergencies, anaphylaxis, stroke, and we do code patients once in a while. We teach them how to do their CPR and ensure that they know how to do CPR. To call 911 and be able to use the AED, which is critical in in-house situations. Is we make sure that they have all the information when they call 911. So when they transfer care, because transfer of care is probably one of the most critical parts of our field. I transfer care to a nurse. If I don't give her all the critical information, they have to start over. Now, if this patient is unconscious, there's something they're not going to get. They were conscious when they were with me. Now they're unconscious when they're with him or her. There's something they're not going to get. So we practice transfer of care also. When the students debrief, we can go through this step by step because everything that they do to the patient is time-stamped on our debrief log. You touch the patient's pulse, there's a timestamp. You intubate the patient, it's time-stamped. You give the patient some medication, it's time-stamped. From the time you walk through that door, everything is time-stamped from the time you arrival to checking vitals, so you can see how long did it take you to take the vitals. Oh, I had it within 2 or 3 minutes. Well, it took you 9 minutes. We code them, bring them back, debrief them, and we ask them, is there something that you could have done different that would have made this scenario positive? Well, I could have asked them if he was allergic to anything. So they're learning on their own, and they're answering their own questions. I don't have to negatively say, why did you give them, why did you give them lidocaine? Did you ask them? No, they come up with it on their own. Because the patient has responded. No malpractice. All it takes is one death. I can reset him every day. I reset him 20 times. Yesterday, I reset a mannequin, I think, 20 times. He died. I reset him 20 times. Never complained. He always shows up to work. And I can do anything I want to him. I can recreate from a cut on the finger that the nurses have to find by asking questions to a full-blown code. It's unlimited. With the new mannequins that are coming out, with the new technology that's coming out, the sky's the limit where we can go. The best training tool that we have, the best training, and it's been proven through the Air Force, airplanes, boats, cars, and what's more valuable? A patient's life. Human life is why we do it, is to save the human life.
What you've seen is an instructional strategy that puts the learning onus on the student. Working with faculty and learning outcomes, the students can actually achieve a higher level of situational decision-making or critical thinking than we had ever hoped. And it's all without jeopardizing patient safety, and that's our goal. What we have seen is the growth in the number of students that we have served over the last year. So we've actually doubled the number of students that have participated in these medical simulation scenarios. Our faculty write scenarios, and then our operators input them into the high-fidelity software, and they carry out the scenario for the training that is appropriate for that learning outcome. We also have reached out to our professionals across the state, and we hosted a mini simulation user network last October 1st, and had 89 participants from as far away as Orlando and Fort Myers. So the popularity of this and the interest in this is growing, and following yesterday and today's meeting, I have to tell you that I think that we are on the road to being a benchmark program in medical simulation. It was a very interactive day of activities, and it was well received by our practitioners. We also have had the recognition by organizations like Hartford Foundation, the National League for Nursing, and Laerdal Corporation, who makes the equipment, in helping our nursing program get recognition and a grant for advancing care excellence of seniors. It's called the ACES program, and it is becoming a nationally recognized curriculum in which we care for geriatric patients. Laerdal has created the scenarios for geriatrics, and they will be rolled out, and we will be using them in our Center of Excellence. Are we ahead of the curve? Yes, in a lot of ways we are. Some of the other institutions in the state have larger facilities than we do. FIU has building a health science building down, and it's about 20,000 square feet. The house is all simulation, and they can do this for surgical technology, and they host all of the health science students there, and nurses as well. They have nurse practitioner simulations and physician assistants, so it's very exciting. We see the need to take our equipment into the field and do just-in-time training, especially as rural as some of the areas in Palm Beach County are. And so we have that focus that we'd like to see the Center of Simulation go there. So we are looking for sustainability, and I was able to get a lot of good ideas today that I'll be working with Dr. Viejo to figure out how we can sustain our activities in the Center of Excellence. Lastly, we reached out to the health department and to show them the type of equipment that we have, and we were invited to come to the health department's dental meeting, and there were about 40 dentists there and their staff, and dental hygienists and dental assistants, and we conducted almost a full day there in using simulation. And just a brief clip of that. Here's where we want to go. I threatened to sing tonight the Dinah Shore CV USA in your Chevrolet, but I won't bore you with that rendition. But we really know that this is an instructional methodology that is going to be here. It improves critical thinking skills. It's proven. It preserves patient safety. And it's going to save money in the long run when you think about the hours of training that students have in clinic and sometimes do not even experience the types of learning outcomes that they need to experience. So it's a very exciting project. And excuse me for just a second. I've been watching this person in the audience. Sir, are you okay? Are you with him? Okay. I'm sorry, you don't feel well?
No, I really don't feel well. I need some help. Please help me.
What is the problem? Are you having trouble breathing?
I think I'm gonna pass out. Please help me.
He's having a heart attack, yes.
Can you
Yeah,
help?
well, if he's gonna pass out, let's move him down to the floor, okay? All right, let's do that. All right, it's okay, sir. We're from the college. We're here to help. All right. Oh gosh, he's not breathing. Can you check the pulse? Oh no. Okay, I took a class on this. I'm pretty sure I know what to do. You start doing chest compressions. You call 911. Let them know we're at CE 129, and we have a gentleman having a cardiac arrest. You, innocent bystander, I need you to go get an AED. I believe it's out in the lobby. All right. Is anybody here with him? Anybody here with him? Anybody know anything about this gentleman? Nothing? Oh no. Okay. Got airway. We're not doing breath anymore. We're doing the American Heart Association 2011 rollout. We're doing chest compressions. Let's get the AED attached on right now. All right?
What you're seeing here is an actual simulation, what we do every day. We do this with the nursing students, we do it with the paramedic students, we do this with dental students. This is what they go through every day in a simulation lab. We recreate medical emergencies where they have to train exactly how they're going to do it in their offices or in the street.
See the chest compressions? All right. Electrodes are applied. What now? Push, analyze. Okay. Stand clear. I read really well. We are clear. All right, I'm clear. You're clear. Everybody's clear. Come on, come on, come on. I'm clear. Shock is delivered.
What just happened?
All right, they saved his life. How about that, huh? All right, at this point, what we do with the paramedics would be on their way. There'd be a transfer of care to the paramedics. The paramedics would take them to the sim lab. The sim lab where the nurses would take transfer of care. The paramedics would treat them. We would continue the care in the ambulance to the sim lab where the transfer of care to the nurses. The emergency room techs would take them from there. They would do their care. They would transfer care to the floor, and the simulation could last up to 8 hours with one patient. So it's from beginning to end, transfer of care, interdisciplinary, and we can do this every day. He dies, we bring him back. It doesn't cost us anything.
Bring out
I would like to introduce my staff. Malcolm Bomford, please raise your hand. Tom Woodward, Bill Breyer, and Phil Santamaria. I thank you and ask if you have any questions for us.
Just curious, how many students are on Mr. Sam's for any one incident? How many students are on?
Ideally, the number of students that participate are four at a time.
Okay.
Because of the mirroring it to the clinical, you don't want to have eight students around, and you need to keep track. And so what we do is we take a clinical group and break them in half. And in the beginning, one group goes in and has the simulation and is debriefed afterwards to determine what the learning event was. And then the other half of the group goes in and has their simulation.
It's my understanding that you don't have to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
That's correct.
Yeah, in 2011, we're worried about circulation, where keepers are of perfusion. What we want to do is make sure there is oxygen in the brain and blood supply to the brain. We found out that if somebody goes down, the oxygen rate in the blood, we breathe 21% oxygen. Okay?
We're not giving them anything more, but if you're not getting the blood to the brain, you're not perfusing. So we're keepers of perfusion. What we want to do is try to keep the pump primed, so when it's time to start it up through an AED, it'll kickstart.
It's theorized that the act of the chest compression itself, pushing down, expels air, releasing allows air to go back in by pressure gradient. You don't want me to get all respiratory on you now, do you? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.